Hello, everyone. Welcome to What's Really Going On in America. Quinn here.
Johnny over here.
So, a couple weeks ago, um, a manager at McDonald's was killed. Um, oh, yeah, that's why I always forget this part. And that is. So, if you want to help us support what's really going on in America, get a Human Lives Matter t shirt. Johnny, awesome shirt, spreading a cool message.
I know a guy.
And yep, just go to WRGOA.com, and that's the website where you can get it. Um and speaking of human lives, this manager's life did matter. And now, originally, when I first saw the news report about it, there was a part of it where the employee said the manager was not being all that great towards her. And I know that all too well. But I didn't go killing my managers over it. I simply quit. But if I would have been smart, I would have gotten a lot more money out of that deal.
That's what you get for
And
being rational.
Yup. So let's take a look at the news report, and after that we're gonna discuss everything that everything the employee could have done, and what's written in the law that helps um protect your 13th Amendment. Your 13th Amendment, your employers have to honor. That's why we have DOL laws, Department of Labor laws. So, I am so sorry, people. My computer likes to be a jerk.
China.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to do that in a while, and I saw the opportunity and I took it.
I tell you what, Google if Google makes these computers here in America, it better be way better. I mean, heck, put those tariffs on Samsung.
I have my own personal grievance with Samsung. Their TVs are garbage.
Yep. Okay, so here we go.
Who was stabbed to death while on the job returned to the scene of the crime. This time they're honoring her life. Good evening. I'm Brandon Hudson.
And I'm Taryn Asher. It happened last week at the East Point McDonald's. Her co-worker accused of killing her, leaving the community devastated. Fox News' Camila Murray joining us now live from this vigil. And wow, we see all the people behind you. It left a lot of people just truly asking a lot of questions, Camille.
Yeah, an absolutely horrible story we've been covering since the very beginning. And yes, as you can see, a lot of people here getting ready to honor her and pay tribute to Jennifer Harris, 39 years old, single mother of 6, loved by so many, a manager here for 15 years here at this McDonald's. I want you to take a look at her picture and some video from what happened on Thursday, and let's talk about that. I'm sure many of your viewers remember this happened on Thursday morning. She got into a sort of altercation with one of the employees, according to police. She sent that employee home because that employee was not doing their performed duties. This is all according to sworn testimony from a detective in court on Friday. So that employee leaves and comes back about 5 minutes later and allegedly stabs Jennifer Harris several times in the drive-through area inside. Somebody witnesses it. They are a CPL holder, and they've actually pulled up waiting for their food. They shot a gun into the air to try to stop everything, but it was too late. And then they actually held the suspect in custody at gunpoint until police were able to get there. Obviously, this is so devastating for so many people. We got a chance to talk to family members last week when this first happened. And I want you to listen to some of this emotional sound from one of Jennifer Harrison's oldest children. She is Antonio Griffin. Take a listen.
My mama was a good person. She was the best mom anybody could ever ask for. She woke up every day and went to work for us. My mama died trying to take care of us. She was so good to everybody. A hardworking woman, so kind. If anybody needed help, she would give you her last, give you the shirt off her back.
So here we are. This vigil is about to start at any moment. You can hear them announcing we're going to be out here, of course, covering this entire thing and bring you the latest coming up tonight at 6. Reporting live in East Point, Camille Mary, Fox 2 News.
Camille, is the McDonald's putting this on to honor this employee? I mean, we see so many people behind her. Are they also trying to raise money for the family since this was a single mother? She had several children, and obviously they are devastated.
Yes, and the owner of this franchise is actually paying for the whole funeral and has set up a trust for the family, for the 6 children. And there's a GoFundMe as well that we'll be putting on our website, fox2detroit.com. But yeah, McDonald's is part of this vigil. They moved it inside because of the heat. There's some beautiful red and white balloons that we're going to be seeing out in the air tonight at the end of this. But again, staying inside because of the heat and just trying to accommodate everybody here. But I think it's going to be a very moving ceremony. You can see all of us have pictures of stickers that they gave us to honor Jennifer Harris. So definitely a very touching scene here.
Yeah, our hearts go out to the family, that's for sure. And we'll talk to you a little bit later at 6.
All right. So what we heard there is this employee wasn't doing her job to begin with. And of course, if you're going to waste someone else's money by going, you may be going to work, but if you're wasting their money by not working, when there's stuff that needs to be done in the business, you're going to get sent home. And you could get written up. You could end up with a suspension up to termination after so many write-ups. So, and of course, there was another argument where the employee was trying to say, oh, well, she was just a bad manager. Now, bad employees will say, oh, that's a bad manager because they're making me work for my money. When most people just want to stand there and do nothing and get paid for it.
What it really comes down to, because I've been on both sides of this fence. I was an employee with bad management, and I quit. And I went and found something that didn't suck. And now as a manager, I have to deal with this stuff. Like, hey, you're not doing the job that you were hired to do. And I was like, sorry, you got to go home. Apparently, I guess I got to stay strapped at work now.
And most people may not believe this because it's very rare these days, but you can be a great manager or a great owner and still and still you know and still be as firm as you need to be. You don't you can be a good manager, the whole idea is you got to be a good manager, not a bad one, and not a nice one. Nice ones will let you do whatever you want and nothing gets done. Good managers will expect things to be done but not be abusive.
Exactly.
And did you know there's actually, and I dealt with a very bad boss at a McDonald's once. He would harass certain people, and especially me and this one guy. And if I would have known then what I know today, I would have sued them. I would have brought them to court for workplace harassment, because there's actually a law that states, if a manager, basically, if your employers are treating you as dirt, basically, like creating a hostile workplace, that's called workplace harassment under the law. And I wish I would have known that when I was 19, because I would have gone to an employment rights attorney. And that's part of the part where our education fails. They don't teach us these things in schools, because they rather have reactions from us. They rather have us just quit and not hold anyone accountable.
The amount of times I've seen lazy employees claim workplace harassment simply because they were asked to do the job they were hired. I don't have enough fingers. And then there's places that have legitimate workplace issues like that. And then their cases just get brushed under the rug because there's so many people out there crying about nothing.
Yeah. But I think in this case, it's legit laziness. We live.
Yeah.
I don't. And also, people would always say, oh, if people got paid more, they would able to afford everything. Well, here's the problem with that. You'll get sent home if labor in fast food, labor has to be between 18% up to 24%, depending on the owner, depending on who owns the store. Okay, so with that said, the more you pay someone, the higher the minimum wage, the less people on the floor you're gonna get serving you. Because that labor goes up really fast.
Also, look at big companies that are starting to flounder. Who are the first people to go in those companies? It's not the janitor. It's not the receptionist. It is the big money people. So if even at a fast food level, if you're making a lot more money than the other person who's doing the same job as you, and you're not performing the same, and you're not producing a value for being there to warrant that extra money, guess who's the first person to get laid off? Everyone wants to whine and cry about, oh, if you pay me more money, I'll work harder. I'm not going to sit here and say that people are not being taken advantage of. However, when you signed on to do that job, if that employer did their job and said, this is what I'm expecting of you, this is what I'm paying you, are you okay with that? And you sign on to do that, and then you do not do that, how is that any difference than, being in breach of contract and any other sort of, physical task, within employment? And yeah, so like I've had people over the years like, oh, well, I need more money to do this job. And then we give them more money. And then the job doesn't get any better. So I just lit money on fire because I gave you more money to do what you said. Oh, if you give me more money, I can do this. Oh, all right. We do it. Same problem, except bigger expense. Oh, guess what? I'm sorry. It's 1:00 in the afternoon on a Wednesday. I don't have enough work for you for the rest of the week. So, see you next Monday, kind of a thing. And I hate doing that, but at the same time, it's like I'm paying you a crazy amount of money to do a job that you're not doing.
Yeah.
Like, I make what I make to do my job. And if you want to say, oh, well, I don't get paid to do that. Well, technically, neither do I. But I'm picking up your slack on top of doing my job. Yeah, I'm going to be a little upset about it from the, unfortunately, I have to say that I'm from the management standpoint now. And I never wanted to be, but here we are on a Tuesday talking about lazy employees.
Well, yeah. And see, that's the thing about management. They're unbound, they're given so much authority under the owner, but they're also given responsibility, especially financial responsibility. So then the business becomes profitable. And that all lies on management, especially the higher up management. I was a GM at a McDonald's myself, and this was post department managers. Before, we used to have just shift managers, assistant manager, GM. Before we went to the people department, guest service department, and the kitchen manager. And my job as a GM was to train the other GMs, the department managers, to do their jobs properly, to be sure that, let's say the people manager, they were responsible for labor costs. And it was my responsibility to make sure they did their jobs. The kitchen manager, it was my job to make sure they had the right amount of product so then food cost wasn't so high. And for the guest service, it was my responsibility to make sure that the guests were being served properly through the guest service manager. It was not my job to do all the store myself, but rather do it through the 3 department managers. And so, and I actually did all 3 of those jobs one time. I did, when I was a guest service manager, I made sure that the guest satisfaction was as high as it could possibly be. When I was the kitchen manager, I ordered so properly. I mean, yeah, I might have gotten too many fries here and there, and I could have done better without in the beef. But other than that, I did pretty good with everything else. And then, as far as the people manager, probably my favorite job because it was like I was an assistant, but I didn't have to have the overwhelming responsibilities of a GM.
And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like your manager, especially if you're like a multi-location kind of thing, they're responsible for everything that every single person in that building does.
Yeah.
Good, bad, indifferent. if one of my employees decides to go out and be like, a jerk, I was gonna use a different word, but I'm trying to behave tonight. Let's just say they go do something stupid after hours, wearing one of our, company shirts. I got to deal with that to some degree, depending on what the outcome is. So, oh, your manager, oh, they're a jerk to me. Are they though? Are they? Because it's like that person's position and their responsibility to make sure everybody takes home a paycheck. And guess what? If the owner's numbers aren't jiving, they're just going to say, this isn't worth it, and shut it down. And then nobody has a job. Then, oh, I'm not making enough turns into, you ain't making anything.
And that's why the murder of this woman was 100% senseless, because it's like, yes, I had bad bosses, but I would never kill them. But at first, I just quit my jobs. Now, I document everything. That way I can if I need to, I can take it to court and make more money than being employed there, and make it hurt them without hurting me. I get rewarded for their insubordination against the government laws and against the 13th Amendment. And I make it work for me. And see, if this young lady was educated and hardworking, you gotta be both, and hardworking, she could have made it work for her benefit to get more money than being employed at this McDonald's if that manager was bad. But I don't think she was bad, based on the testimonies. But I don't know what's going on behind closed doors, because what happens behind closed doors is hardly ever revealed in the workplace.
Exactly. And I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say you don't hold the position of a manager for 15 years if you suck. And, and that's one of those things. Like, owners are going to look at employee retention, turnaround rate, things like that, as part of that qualification / grading system of their manager. Like, yeah, our numbers are really, really good, but you have to hire somebody every 3 days because somebody's quitting every 3 days. Why are they quitting every 3 days? So I personally, I'm siding with the manager. I'm sad that this happened, and it should never happen. But Quinn, as we've all seen, everybody's so reactionary, and I'm the victim. I'm going to lash out, and I expect zero repercussion for doing so. Well, I'm going to assume there's probably going to be some repercussion for this. You got a little bit worse than being sent home for not doing your job right now.
I was just reminded, there was a time when the owner of a McDonald's, he brings me to the side and says, you see this? Hire more of this. More of us, less of them. More of us, less of them. Meaning, don't hire anyone that's not white. Because I was a hiring manager there.
Where was your location at? Like was it in a city?
I won't say on the air.
Oh no, not specifically, but like inner city or like rural. Because I'm not defending what he said. Like that's bullshit. But
oh yeah,
like
let me
I don't know. Most people want to
let me finish
buy their
this
food from people that look like them.
I wanted to punch him in the face so badly. Like, I really wanted to knock him out. Like, totally knock him out. Do as much harm to him as I possibly can for saying that. But you know what I did? I controlled myself, and I said, you know what? I'm not gonna break the law. I'm not gonna hire based on skin color like he wants me to. I will hire based on character. And that's exactly what I did. And I hired more black, more brown than white people because they're the ones that came with the applications, you know. And I did pretty darn well. And did the owner do anything to me when I hired him? Nothing. He did nothing. He didn't try to fire me or anything. Because let me tell you, if he would have, I would have reported him to the EEOC. And I would have been like, let's have a case in court. Let's make some money together. Let's get him many fines. Let's sue him. Let's go the whole 10 yards to hurting his wallet.
He thought he had a good idea. Then he looked at the numbers and was like, all right, I'm just going to sit back and count my money now. And that's really, if you're a business owner and you have thoughts like that, shut up. And if your hiring managers are hiring people that make your bank account look good, shut up. If your customers are happy and they're not complaining, shut up. And in fact, don't even show up at the location. Just stay home. Just never come around it. Just watch the money roll into your bank account. Because there are people out there that for whatever reason, I'm wired like this. Just let me make you money. That's all. Stay over there and I'll be here. Let me make my money. And it's going to make you money. It's going to make your customers happy. It's going to make your other employees money. And then everybody wins. Just shut up. That's really what it comes down to. And a lot of times, like, people just need to shut up. You've witnessed it.
Yup.
If the guy would have just shut up and let you do your job, he would have been. He would have been
with
great.
this, and you know what? It's funny too because the woman that was killed had black skin. Where was Black Lives Matter in all this? Oh, no protest, no nothing. Even though it's a normal thing, black on black crime. It's like
It doesn't fit the narrative.
no. Let's complain about that about the 15 cops that killed 15 black skinned human beings in a whole year. Not to say that it should happen at all, but the point is, if they were for all Black Lives Matter, it would go for everything, and they'd be protesting more of black on black crime and abortions than anything. Because that's where the numbers are in that. I just wanted to point that out quick in this.
I would just like to look if we're talking about a certain thing mattering, we should probably like figure out where the largest number of the problem is and then figure out how to fix that. And whether we have to look within ourselves as a community to do so, then maybe we have to do that. Because nobody has any problem pointing out that majority of tax crime is old white people. That's perfectly okay. Yeah. We can say that. Oh, that's right. It's true. Yeah, it's true. It's proven on paper, statistically. Old white people in jail for tax fraud. But, that's okay. I don't know. It's... I'm really tired of like how we're supposed to be upset about certain things while ignoring like a bigger problem. I don't know. I think I may have had a couple of wires crossed when I was young or when I was born because I think I might just be a little bit stupid because like I don't know. Fix the
No,
actual problem.
I think you're. Well, if you were dumb, that means you would have taken that indoctrination from the public school district and be a totally different person. But no, you're smarter than that because you actually look beyond what they teach. So don't put yourself down there. Um, but yeah, so yeah, you can. But yeah, how this whole like this lady, she didn't have to die.
No.
She if she was that bad of a manager, you take a court, you make sure that the news is on it, make sure it goes public. Maybe she ends up being fired from there or
Right.
demoted at the worst, at the most, because if she was a good employee and they consider her a bad manager, she would have been demoted eh, down to like crew or something, or a shift manager, but she wouldn't have been a GM. So yeah,
Well, and
so
also
yeah,
like
it's
they stated in the news clip that the owner of that franchise is paying for the funeral. Now, is that a publicity
yeah.
stunt? Potentially. But if that manager was on record being a bad manager, are you going to run that risk defending that person? Or are you going to say, oh, well, this person was a bad manager. All this stuff has come to light. But then you're also putting yourself out there as a bad owner because, oh, I knew this. Like, it's you never. Nobody's ever going to be happy. That's what it comes down to. This poor woman lost her life because somebody couldn't take a little bit of discipline. And I don't know, Quinn. We've talked about our childhoods a little bit. They were there's some things that wouldn't fly today that we've experienced, but I feel it made us like more adjusted adults. Some kids just need to get smacked around a little bit so they don't grow up and kill their boss for no reason.
Well, I say this. So me being from crew to manager, well, GM actually, I had every responsibility in inside the stores, I should say, because being a supervisor means you oversee multiple stores within a company. Like if an owner operator owned like 5 stores, you would end up looking over 5 stores. Okay. But I was never a supervisor. I was up to a GM. And the supervisor that I had, I didn't like him very much at times because he would put down some of my employees, some of my management, and instead of telling me, "Hey, this is what's going on with these managers," blah blah blah, and I would observe for myself and see, he would tell me, "Oh, maybe you should demote them right off the bat." And me, I wanted to work with them. I got the one manager that, and this one employee who had big time issues with each other, getting along with each other under my leadership.
And
Like
that's
this
true, man.
one, this
That's
one,
good management right there.
yeah. And and what ends up happening, and we don't have that kind of leadership in restaurants anymore. We don't have it in in retail or any of these lower end jobs because many people do not have de-escalation skills. They don't have great communication skills. They and to be quite honest, they have an honesty problem, many of them. uh, they refuse to confront the issues. And unless, of course, if they do, there would be times when they would not confront the issues properly.
About to go. About to do a little tisming right now. One of the things I've realized over the years is, especially in like your what they call entry level jobs, is everybody's out for themselves. They are going to absolutely crap on everybody else and their same title, same level of employment to make themselves look better. They may be a crappy employee, but they're going to do really, really good at making everybody else around them look worse. So it's like, oh, well, I'm excuse myself for an example. Well, Johnny looks great. He's doing a fantastic job. Numbers could be a little bit better, but, everybody else is just doing that much worse. So at that point, I am now good by default. That's what these people do. They're just stepping on other people. Like Quinn, we talk about it all the time. There's lots of good people in the world, but there's also probably just as many bad people. And that will absolutely just shit on other people to make themselves look better. And you want to talk about, oh, Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or blah, blah, blah. These rich people just use it. You're no better, except you're making minimum wage, it maybe a little bit more, and you're shitting on somebody else who has nothing. You know me. You hate Amazon. I love it. Because the people who hate it, and I'm not saying you, but the majority of the people who hate companies like that are the ones who built it because they used it. And what was that thing 5 years ago? Allegedly came from China. It was a thing. We had to stay inside. It was very dangerous. And then guess what happened? Well, I couldn't go to my little corner store to buy a pair of jeans. The only place I could do it was online. Guess who sold the pair of jeans I needed and I could get them to me in less than a month? Amazon. We do this at our level the same way that those corporations do it. We just step on people. We make ourselves look better even though we're not. I worked with a guy years ago. On paper, he sounded very, very intelligent. He said the right words. He knew when to say things. But I'll tell you what, his entire career was based off of just stepping on other people. And when he said the smart words, he had no idea what they actually meant. But to somebody who didn't know, it's like, wow, this guy sounds really smart. We should promote him. It turns out he was like a mongoloid and had like less IQ capacity than one of my cats. But he did himself really well. He worked himself up. He was a regional manager for a company in my industry for a while because that's all he did. He said the right words and he shit on people. Guess what happened? Guess what he does now? Nobody knows. He's not even into business anymore. Nobody will hire him because he ran out of luck and he ran out of people to step on. So that's what I see like at lower level jobs. It's like, oh, so and so sucks. Like so do you. And yeah, it is like that. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to throw stuff at the cat again. He's on top of the TV. Florida man.
Well, I'm gonna do the final thoughts and end this a little early because it's a very short episode, as you could see. But if you have a job and if you hate it, get a new one. If you are being harassed by your managers, I suggest that you document in an email or a text message. That way you have backup with everything. In fact, I had to do that last year with my employer. I had issues with the deep fryer, and she accused me of doing something I did not do. So I have in a text message about the issue that I had with the deep fryer, and that text message is there forever. And I can even, and because I use Google Voice for my employers, it'll never go away. And so, and then I use words like harassment because of the way I was being treated that night, and so forth and so forth. And so basically, there's nothing that's not documented that I have. So if you need to take it to court, you have documentation that you can. And I highly suggest that you use Google Voice for your employers, or a secondhand phone number. That way, if the employer's trying to contact you on your time off, you can turn off that phone number and be uninterrupted 100%. So basically, and of course, if it's within the EEOC laws, you if they try to break those laws, you contact them. If it goes against the Department of Labor laws federally or statewide, there's two of them in Pennsylvania because of federal and state. You contact them, preferably on the state level first before you go to federal level, and hope. So basically, what? So, you, but yeah, always come with them with your documentation. That way, you have their replies back to you, and their replies are gonna be their downfall. So there's no need to hit anyone. There's no need to kill anyone as much as you may want to sometimes. You think first and you react the right way second, the right way. Any final thoughts on your end?
I think I need to add a new accessory to my work uniform for myself and my other department heads, and it's going to make noises, very loud ones if necessary. No, I don't. I'm joking. I don't have to do that. I try to be the employer manager that I wanted when I was a young person. I have an open door policy. If your manager doesn't have an open door policy where you can say, hey, I'm not feeling so hot about X, Y, or Z, that's your first sign to start looking for other employment. Don't let it get to the point where you boil over. Like, don't put yourself in a position that, I'm not making money now because I quit, on the spot. No. If you have a problem, talk to your manager, your direct supervisor, whatever. And if they're not doing what you need them to do, or they're not responding in a way that you feel is warranted, then you're an American. Go seek employment elsewhere. Don't let it escalate to what we talked about in this news clip. You're better than that. And I'm not here defending employers either, because a lot of them suck. And Quinn, you've worked for a lot of people. You've realized that a lot of them suck as well. So, nothing wrong with you. Nothing wrong with me. I've left jobs because management was terrible. I also never laid hands on them. I've also never unalived anybody for being a crappy manager. Just like, yeah, the business will get you eventually, and I'm just going to go over here and make money. I'm trying to think. It's one of those topics where we could just go on for hours. Like this literally could be a 4-hour stream. Like we could totally do that just based off just you and me, just our experiences throughout our lives and with employment. But On that note, be safe out there, employees. Know your rights, obviously, and just know you're never like locked into anything. Go do something better. Go make more money. Do it. I dare you. Go be the better person. Hashtag you won't.
Well, and for one very final thought, and I promise it's the very final thought.
Lies.
If your employer doesn't respond to your emails or text messages, that can be used against them easily. Because why would they not want to if they're doing the right thing? And that's all I gotta say about this whole thing.
I was gonna make a joke there because the CEO's at a Coldplay concert with the HR lady, but I'm tired of that meme.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for joining us. And also get the cool. Oh,
Here we go. What is your mind?
get yourselves a Human
the
Lives
human-
Matter T-shirt, and they're only $20 plus shipping, and we'll see you next week.
Have a fantastic week, everybody. If you're around us, enjoy the weather. It's fantastic.